Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hi, Dee.
Hi, how are you?
I'm in as Tom, so hang on. Let me change. Let me change myself. Okay, let's see. There we go. There we go. Okay, I feel much better now.
Yeah, that's not good. You turn on a webinar and people go, uh-oh.
I was smoked. Oh, no. Hello, everybody. How are you doing this evening?
Good.
Good.
Doing good.
Good job. Good to see you, Jeff and Ann. And we got Jerry and Claire and Cindy Malone. Hey, honey bun, how are you? Marianne. Yay. Smile, Bob. You're on camera.
Wait. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to hear you guys.
Okay.
All right. Hi.
What?
Adrian. Yay. Hi, honey. How are you? James Wilmore. Yay. Hooray.
All right. Let's get
Let me make sure.
started. Wow, hello.
Adrian looks terrified.
Perplexed, Jeff, perplexed.
It's Peggy Gleason, the most recent graduate from 65 and a Wake Up.
I'm good.
Whoop, whoop.
Hi,
Go,
Mary.
Peggy. Go, Peggy. Go, Peggy.
Hello.
Hello. We'll be dancing in Vegas. Yay. Hooray.
Very excited.
It is.
All right. Let me text the man of the hour here.
And Hanny. Hanny's here too. Congratulations, Hanny. We love you.
Annie.
Oh, my God.
Tom. We're all singing and dancing and going to Vegas.
Hello, everybody.
I cannot wait.
For what?
Vegas.
Vegas.
When is that?
Vegas, baby. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah, right. I'm usually too exhausted to have anything happen. Oh, all right. Tommy, are we ready here?
That's good. Yeah, so that's good.
The bionic John Funk is here.
All right. Got it. All right, I'm going to mute everybody. Oh, wait a minute. Who got on first? I'm not
Me. Oh, I have to. What do I have to do?
the
Okay, hang on. Let me pull it up.
See if you can. Oh, you logged into our account. Okay, see if you can
You want me to log out and come back in?
go over to the right. Well, if you ended now, we're ended.
Oh, gosh, I can't do that. Okay, so you want me to, let's see, manage participants? Yep, hang on. Mute all. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, okay, you have to unmute yourself, Marianne, and then you want me to hit record.
Yeah, it's already recording.
Perfect.
It looks like it's, and it's going to record on your computer.
Oh, great. Okay.
All righty. And we got to get Tom. You have to unmute Tom.
Oh.
You're going to be in charge now.
All right, I'm in charge. All right. Mr. Chenault, you are ready to go?
All right, everybody. Good afternoon. Make sure you unmute Adrian. You don't have him yet. All right, this is going to be an exciting Zoom, you guys. Couple of things coming in. I mean, so many of you are just about to win the 65 and a Wake Up contest, which is so exciting. We are just having more people come through the pipeline. I can't believe it. Lots of people going to GoPro. Lots of people headed to the next GoPro. Lots of people going to win Denise's award that she does so beautifully. It is just exciting, and you guys are getting this, and we know that. We know you've got the hang of the interviews. It is really inspiring to watch you come through this thing. It's just absolutely blowing our mind. And the next phase is what to do with the three-way call. You've done a great job on the three-way with the tools. You're not so good yet on the three-way with the phone calls, but we kind of let you have a hall pass on that. But now we want to take this up one more level, and we are going to teach you to follow up. And so it's going to be 65 and a wake up, 65 and an enrollment conversation, 65 and a three-way call, 65 and a follow up. And I know that all of you guys are on Pluto when it comes to figuring out how in the world you're going to follow it up. And I have tried everything from note cards to yellow stickies to everything I can think of, to one phone, having another phone as a backup phone. So I have two phones, and I actually bought a third phone yesterday, and guess what? None of that works. So I got together with a couple of rocket scientists and one non-rocket scientist, being Marianne Niehaus, and I said, what you guys need to do is design something for us that we can use. And Peggy Gleason, congratulations. I heard about a text message you sent to somebody today saying this was exactly the problem that you have. You don't know what you're going to do about it. So I said, abracadabra, abracadoo, and we have solved your problem. So you guys are going to flip out at what you see going on. And all I want to do is make the life for every one of you more exciting, more fun. John Clark, Jeff Barassa, Dylan Suggs, you did a great job on that three-way call today. My dear friend from New York, Hanny, I am telling you, you're right at the edge of this thing coming through. But Marinko and Adrian, unbelievable. You guys, first of all, shout out to Marinko, because Marinko came to us with a Excel spreadsheet that literally was alive. And if you knew Excel, you would have looked at this thing and said, we don't need anything else. But we saw that not everybody is going to be as, in Marinko is not only an unbelievable engineer. His wife, Diane, is an unbelievable engineer, but he and his wife are the best Argentinian, and he's from Croatia. So how he became an Argentinian, maybe not Croatia, someplace like that. And anyway, we'll find out that in a minute. Yeah, I think Croatia. Anyway, but at the end of the day, he's also like this unbelievable barbecuer, griller. So we decided I gave him a challenge, and I said, man, you get this thing figured out. We're going to have a barbecue out at the lake, and you are going to do the cooking in this big egg, big green egg, or whatever you call it that we have. And Adrian and all of us are going to come out there and go to dinner. And he took the challenge. So he and Adrian have gone crazy. So here's what's going to happen today. I'm bowing out of this thing. I'm going to let Marinko and Adrian, so you got to unmute Marinko too. He's unmuted.
Already done. Yep.
So, okay, Radar O'Reilly. So here we go. It is going to be exciting. Adrian, what has happened? And wait a second. Can Adrian do screen share? I can.
Yeah,
okay,
I should.
He's okay. Okay, so I have done my job. I am going to now watch, like all you guys are, Marinko and Adrian. Marinko, you got to figure out a way to get some light on your face. You look like you're from Croatia. Let's go.
Okay, let me do the light.
Okay. Adrian, tell these people what you did.
All right, so we have these Tuesday night meetings, and follow-up has been a big point of conversation, because we all, the good news and the bad news about being on this journey together is that we have all accumulated a lot of people, and it is not easy to keep track of them all and how to follow up with them and make sure that we do that. And if we don't actually do that, then all of this effort that we've been doing is somewhat for naught, because it takes all those follow-ups before we can see these things through to fruition. And so we've been having a conversation, and we're sitting there scratching our head going, what are we going to do? We don't know how, we don't know anything. And Marinko goes, well, I think I might have solved your problem. And so Marinko sent out this spreadsheet that Dad mentioned that is truly rocket science, that has all these different ways of tracking all of his people. And I mean, he's been thinking this thing through on a really, really deep level. And honestly, I mean, he got us 80% of the way there, and all we really needed to do was figure out a form factor that was going to work for everybody that was dead simple. And so we started brainstorming about how we could do this. And there is a tool out there called Trello that I have been using on the startup. I got introduced to it by this team of developers that I've been working with. And basically what Trello does is, if you've ever seen one of these whiteboards that some of these project managers or tech people, there's, a lot of different people will use it for different things, but you'll take a whiteboard and you almost like draw a grid on this whiteboard, and then people are sort of moving Post-it notes or whatever it is along the whiteboard along the path. So it's very nice because it's physical. You can actually see things moving around, and it's really slick. Well, Trello is exactly that, but in a digital format. And so basically what we did is we took all the thinking that Marinko has done in terms of how to track things, how to track people through the relationship journey, and we turned that into a board that makes it really, really easy for you to take your contacts and physically see them moving through the relationship path as those relationships grow. But it gives you a really easy way to track every single person that you're talking to. So Marinko, do you want to add anything to that while I pull up this screen and we can show people what we've been working on?
Yes. The 20% that you're talking about that I could not do on my spreadsheet, this does for us. And it does it in sortable lists that are easily sortable. And that wasn't so easy to do when I was working with my spreadsheet, when I had to move people around in the spreadsheet. I wanted my spreadsheet simple and compact and have all the names of 1 to 3 months of work visible to me at any time. But, moving them around wasn't so easy, but, you can cut and paste and that kind of thing. But this makes that so easy. And I want to give a shout out to Joel and Nikki, because ever since I've been training with you, Tom, and doing my spreadsheets, and I've had spreadsheets since I've been working. It's my favorite thing, spreadsheets. And man, they really kind of gave me that idea to kind of have a framework to build off of on how to flow those relationships. And so that, and with these sortable lists and a little framework around it, man, you got a nice view of your entire business, and you get to make that list and what's at the top of that list the most important to you, and it's very duplicatable, if that's the way you're supposed to pronounce that word. So back to you, Adrian. You're the visionary of this whole thing. You got to get back to driving this thing.
All right, awesome. So this is, think about what you've got in front of you here. Do I sound as bad as I sound to myself? Am I okay?
You're good. I just muted Marinko.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so think about what you've got here as a populated demo version of your virtual whiteboard. So every one of these things that you're seeing here is a column on your whiteboard. And so what you've got is, over to the left-hand side, you've got a couple of legends for how you're going to think about your contacts. So the first legend is a color coding legend that shows you how to classify every contact that you're working with by the status of that relationship. And if you click on these, it's going to pop open and it's going to give you more details about what each of those represent. Now, any of this stuff, it's all configurable, and I'm going to send you a guide at the end of this call that's going to show you how to set all this stuff up, and it's going to make it really easy for you. But the thing to know is, if you see something here and you go, I don't like that, I wish it was different, you can probably change it. So all this stuff is really, really built to give you something easy to start with, but you can change it. So you see each of these colors, you can mark the relationships based on the status that they are. So you can have them classified, and it just gives you a really visual way to see your people. And then the second thing you have here is you have a legend of the relationship flow. So basically what we're trying to do here is give you sort of a beginning to end view of how most relationships progress as we build those relationships, starting with sort of an introduction into the coffee shop interview, and then on through the process ultimately to where hopefully they enroll in your business. And so again, each one of these things is going to give you some additional details. So you've got your master list, and what your master list is going to be is that place where you are always putting new people that you're encountering out and about, or that pop into your mind, or whatever it is. So you can think of this as your sort of multi-purpose place to track anything that you want to sort of put into this funnel as we think about it, but that hasn't gotten there yet. So this is just your place to capture people. Then you think about someone that's brand new that you haven't gotten to a coffee shop interview with them yet. Then they move into that coffee shop interview, onwards into the invite and edify. So you're trying to start pulling them in. So that's where oftentimes a three-way is going to happen. Then you get them into an actual longevity presentation. And then oftentimes they'll go into a category where you're going to just need to be following up with them and addressing questions and helping them as they think through whether they want to join your business. So that people can be in that space for a while. And then you've got two different buckets, one for your enrolled core team. So when you enroll people and you want to make sure that you keep them always on your radar screen so that you continue working with your enrolled people. And then also your enrolled customers. So you're going to identify customers. You're going to leave them where they are as customers, but you still want to make sure you're touching base with them. So this is going to give you that place for you to capture all of those people. And then finally, you've got stalled trial or enrollment. So basically, you have tried to take them somewhere through this process and they have said no. You can put them over there, and that gives you a place where it may just be that the timing was wrong. It could be a whole variety of things, but you don't lose track of them entirely. And then finally, you can keep for yourself a reference of some of your key people across longevity, whether they be upline, downline, crossline, that you want to use for three ways, et cetera, just to always have those people in front of you as well. So each one of these is essentially a bucket where you're able to track people as they move through the process and make sure that you're able to track them all the time. So the beautiful thing about this is it is so easy. Like you don't have to be a computer person. You don't have to be anything. This is going to work for you. So a couple of things. One is all this is click and drag configurable. So as you want to move people around, you can move them between lists. You can move them up and down between the list. Everything is just click and drag. So it's really, really simple. You can order your list so that the people that you see at the top are exactly the people that you want to see. You can also move your columns around. So it might be like Marinko, for example. Marinko's master list is like 500 people. And so he doesn't want to see that very first thing every day because it's a little bit overwhelming. So you could just grab that master list and you could drag that all the way over there to the end if you want to. And that's no problem. So you can organize this for whatever fits your flow. It's all there and it's all easy for you to play around with. So then the way to think about this is each one of these little cards represents a contact. And so you can see we've kind of populated these with goofy names and all that kind of stuff. But I want to show you, there's a couple in here that we've populated with some more stuff just to show you what this looks like. So let's say that you're in the follow-up phase with your buddy Pluto. So this is some of the stuff that you can see inside of your contacts. So you've got a description section. So this is always going to be at the very top. So you can pop this thing open, and this is where you might put things like their spouse's name, the names of their kids, their occupation, whatever it is that you always want to be front and center anytime that you're talking to that person so that you never forget that stuff. So that stuff is always there. The second thing you can do is you can attach a photo. So you can actually put the picture of the person there, and there's a mobile application. So there's a smartphone app of this as well. So you can do it from there, which makes it a little bit easier to do as well. But you can have their picture there if you want to do that. Up to you if that's helpful for you in this particular case. And then what you do is every time that you have an interaction with that person, you put all of your contact mapping about that person in there as a comment. And what you get is this historical view. So you can see we've got a couple of historical things from earlier this week when we were playing around where you can see different things about that person. And so then, let's say that you had a follow-up call with Pluto today. You could put that in here. So whatever it is, I'm just going to put a couple of things in there. So you hit that. And then as soon as you hit save, that goes at the very top. So you always see the most recent stuff first, but you can scroll through all your history of what has been going on with that person. So you've got it all in one place. So this gives you not just the searchable history of all your stuff, but it gives it to you in chronological order. So you can actually see, I met with this person on this day, and see it really clearly from a historical standpoint. This is also where you can play around with those labels. So if you hit the label, I could say, okay, now it's not a growing relationship. Now it's a closest relationship. So you can turn those things on and off. You can put more than one on the same. So it might be that it's in a holding pattern, but it's at this level. So you can trigger those things on and off really easily. And the other thing that you can do is you can set due dates. So you can actually set yourself reminders of when you need to go and follow up with that person next. So I'm going to say, I need to follow up with Pluto on Monday of next week. I can set a time if I want to. So I'm going to say I want to do it at 2 p.m. and then I'm going to save that. So now I've got this due date for October 30th at 2 p.m. If I'm done with it, I can mark it done. And if I go and I look at my calendar, I can actually look and see, and I can see that I've got my follow-up with Pluto coming up on Monday the 30th. So you can get a calendarized view of all of your upcoming follow-ups. The other thing that you can do, and all this stuff is explained in the guide that we'll send you at the end, but the other thing that you can do is you can turn on notifications. So then you can get an email reminder. I think it's 24 hours ahead of each follow-up that's due, so that you're always getting a consistent set of reminders about what's going on within your groups, and making sure that you stay on top of all those follow-ups. So this is really, really cool. It's really slick and easy. I'm going to show you one more. I'm going to create one here just so you can kind of see what this looks like. So this is literally as simple as it is, right? So we're going to say Snoopy is our new person. Oops, I'm going to put them on my new person. So I met Snoopy today. So I'm going to add them as a new card. I just type that in there and I hit enter, and then I can pop this thing open, and now I can add a little description. So owner's name is Charlie, black and white dog, friend looks like a little bird, whatever it is. So that I've got that. So those are the things I always want to remember. And then I can put the details of met him at the dog food store. So now I've got that. So that gives me my sort of my history that I want to be able to look back at over time. And then let's say that I was able to snap a picture of him. So I could say, okay, I want to add that here. So I'm going to grab that. I'll put him here. And now there's Snoopy. And so you'll see when you initially put one in, it's going to put him up there at the very top, which is, depending on your view, I think it's a little bit annoying because it takes up this huge amount of your screen. So if you don't like that, all you got to do is say remove cover, and then you'll still see it here in the card, but you won't have it taking up your whole screen. So it is literally as simple as that. You can see everything that's going on. It's really fun to play with, and I think you guys are going to love it. So let's pause there. And Marinko, if there's anything you want to add, or Dad, or if there's any questions that have come through on the chat, let's jump in and tackle those.
Yeah, I was going to suggest, you might not have looked at your business like this in the past, and just give it a try first. Before you go changing too many things, unless you've been thinking of your business as this kind of a flow diagram already, you might know what you might want to tweak already. If not, just give this a try. Give it a month or two or whatever. Tom's 65 days and a wake up is really brilliant, because, I think one of the goals when you get to the end of that thing is that you've done so many CSIs that you have really more follow-ups than you know what to do with. And after you've done this for like 65 days, you're going to see that you're going to have stuff populated all across here with all kinds of different work to do. And you're also managing your team relationships, and you're managing your mentoring and your upline and crossline relationships as well in a visual, sortable way. So give this a try first before you go tweaking too much with it. And feedback is always welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing and here's the deal. if you stay with the format that we've got, we are going to construct so what you guys, I keep trying to tell you, you are all test tube babies for this app that's coming. So if you stay with this format, then we can manage the statistics and what we're trying to build inside of this contact mapping app for you. And what we're trying to right now, if you'll stay with us, we can literally monitor your follow-up with you so we can coach you, number one, and more importantly, reward you. Because we're going to add some rewards. We're going to add some pots of gold at the end of the rainbow because we want to prove this up. Because we are convinced that creating relationships and constantly deepening relationships and humanizing your contact book, your address book, is what we want to do. So inside of that, that's what we're trying to get you to. And I promise you, this thing, as I said before, if you start playing with it like these guys have set this up, it will make your pants want to get up and dance.
So what we're going to do, so there's a few questions and we'll cover those here in a second. So what we're going to do is we'll post a setup guide for you that's going to walk you through step by step how to do it. And basically what's going to happen is you guys are going to get a board that's going to allow you to, it's a sort of empty board for you to start with. So basically what you're going to have is you'll have that exact same thing with the same legends, with the same sort of guide rails, but then you won't have any cards that are populated into those columns so that you can start putting your stuff in there. So if you are already into the 65 days in a wake up, what I would say your first job is to do is to go back through your list over however many days you've been in and start dropping your people into what you've got here. And so you'll just start creating those into there, and it's going to be really simple and easy. So a few questions that have come up here on the thread. Sorry.
Yes, it's Android. It's Android phone friendly, Robin Tanner. I have an Android, and we are so committed to this. I told Adrian today I bought another Pixel phone, which is an Android, just for us to have a test phone for when we do get to the point of really testing this and testing the app. Adrian doesn't have to go find me in order to have an Android to dance with. We've got a test Android right here. We are going to make your life completely better.
Yeah. So there's a Trello app, which you'll just download the Trello app once you've created this thing for yourself, and you can view everything. You can change anything in the app. So everything you can do on the web, you can also do in the app. It's really, really cool. And then, so there was some questions about the calendar. So yes, you can integrate this to your calendar. It's a little different depending on what calendar you use. So all you need to do is just Google Trello calendar with Google Trello calendar with iCal, whatever it is. And basically it's just a feed that you're going to incorporate into your own calendar. So you'll be able to pull those up and actually have those showing up in your live calendar, which is really handy. James asked if you'll be able to back this up to Gmail. You will from a calendar perspective, not from an email contacts perspective. So that's really where we're going in the app that we're building, is to have this fully integrated with your contacts, which is super, super important, because then it removes all of this work that unfortunately we got to do until the app is ready, where you've got a little bit of duplication of having to create these contacts as cards in Trello. That's what our app will take away and make really seamless for you when it's ready. But in the meantime, this gives you that infrastructure to be able to track everything and make sure that you don't let anybody fall through the cracks. And yes, the PC version or the web version, so when you're doing it in the browser, that is completely synced to, so everything is totally synced from one device to another. So whatever you're using, it'll work across all your devices.
I got a suggestion. It does not have a Net 10
flip phone yet, though. Sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
If you're done with the questions, I got a couple of things maybe for them to take a peek at.
Okay, cool. Fire.
Over at the relationship colors legend.
Yeah, let me go back to the demo board just so we can show it with the stuff in there.
Awesome.
Yep, okay.
Click on the holding pattern and show them the notes in there.
Yep.
This one is really important because, you know, you'll sometimes run into pretty motivated people, and they're really wanting to follow through and go through it. But, you know, there's sometimes a life transition, like, you know, moving, buying a new house, changing states. There could be some life distraction going on with some relationship difficulties. There could be external or personal obstacles to overcome. And so, you know, just tagging them with a holding pattern is a good way to say, I really don't want to lose where these guys left off. And I want them to just still be important in my list. And so that's been a really important one. You know, Denise often teaches about timing and that whole popping the question too soon kind of thing. And this just helps you just kind of realize that sometimes it's just a timing thing. So that's that one. And then one more, go to the stalled trial enrollment tab in the relationship flow. You know, this one is maybe gone a little bit past that, and you've either enrolled a guy and he gets afraid and asks for his money back, or you know, you were being very kind and giving them free packs for a while because you knew they just needed to start it, but then they never really followed through. You know, there might be something that you did in the prospecting that kind of blew the final piece of it, you know, so you can learn from all of your prospecting experiences, good, bad. You know, if they're doing it for health reasons, they sometimes might not be getting rid of the gluten or doing some of the other things and not really benefiting. And so it's good to track and understand a little bit, you know, why some of these didn't make it all the way through or didn't stay, you know, a success. And, you know, they always might come back, you know, because they might say, you know, I really want to stop, you know, eating all that sugar and, you know, eating all that gluten, and I want to try the products again. So, you know, that's why there's this other list to kind of manage. Those are the ones that didn't make it, but you kind of still want to even keep a distant connection with them just in case they might want to come back. But that's kind of like what I mean about, like, you can really make this mean whatever you want it to mean for your business. You know, whatever these lists and what's really important to you, you can really keep track of it, and that's what makes it really powerful. So that's all I wanted to add.
That's great. Yeah, thanks a lot.
And one other thing, you know, I think about Bob Phillips with his huge HVAC business. I mean, not only once you get the hang of this, is this going to work in your longevity business, but this is going to help you in completely in your life. And, you know, the neat thing about being your word is it gets hard sometimes when you've got, you know, you can ask Denise, I'm terrible about overbooking and underbooking and forgetting to book and all those things that go along with being Tom Chenault. And this is going to help me a tremendous amount because it gives me the ability to actually track where I am and be accountable to Denise and Adrian as to my word and what I'm really doing versus what I say I'm doing. Because I have a tendency to not be that. I have a tendency to do far less than I said I was doing and then try to catch up before you catch me. And I like this because it's going to force me into an accountability role like the Rev 90, you know, on the carbs. So I like the accountability process to it for a guy like me. So just wanted to say that.
Yeah, very good point. Couple more questions that have come in. So Debbie asked about if the descriptions and info list will be pre-populated in the elements. So I think what that means is, like, will sort of the fields that you would want to populate already be there in the cards. They won't only because this is an off-the-shelf application, so we can't sort of precede every new card that you create with a bunch of content. So if that's something that's helpful for you to have, what I'd recommend is to have something that you sort of have in a note or something that you can copy and paste as your starter, and then you can fill in those blanks if that's something that's helpful for you. And then and so similarly, in terms of a list of ideas, Debbie, what I'd recommend is there's a lot of content out there about the coffee shop interview and the lists of questions and that sort of stuff. So if that's helpful for you to have as a primer, then I would just keep a list that you can pull from some of those resources off to the side, and you can email us if you don't know where to find that stuff, and we can help you doing that. And then In terms of speaking it in, James was asking about that. So yes, if you want to use this on your phone and you want to create the card on your phone, you can use the dictation stuff with the dictation within your phone's keyboard to be able to speak it into your phone, just like you might already be doing into the notes field in your contacts. So
do you want to give these guys how about the little Apple tip you taught me the other day?
Oh yeah.
Hang on, I can do it. You guys watch me. So on your phone, right down here in the function corner of your iPhone, right there, you double tap it and a microphone comes up and you can speak your notes into your iPhone and your Apple stuff. Right there, it says FN.
Into your Mac computer, if you have a Mac computer.
Yeah, it's so cool. So now I didn't have that before. I wondered why all the phones were that way, but the keyboard wasn't. Double click that FN button and bam, on your computer, honey. Yeah, very cool.
It's also on the phone too, the iPhone. It has a little, when you're going to type in text into something, there's a little icon that's the third one over. You see 1, 2, 3, you see a smiley face and then a microphone, and you tap on that microphone and it's talk to text or whatever, wherever you're putting information in.
Yeah. Oh, sweet, man. So you guys, I mean, this is getting easier for you to be rock stars by the minute. It's that simple. It's very, very cool.
John O'Bannon's got his hand up. Do you have a question, John?
I think you got to unmute him.
Can you unmute him, Pam?
And how about Julia Foister? Of all the people that shouldn't have an old Mac, it's her. She's all the way down right now in Brisbane, Australia. She's in the most beautiful city you have ever seen. So there you go.
Yeah, and yes, this training is recorded, and yes, we can put together some kind of primer with the info on it so that we can compile a list of questions. I think there's a few things that are floating around that we can use for that.
I have unmuted Julia. I don't know why I ended up. Julia's unmuted, and so is John.
Hey, John, did you have a question?
No. Well, just how I can get this in my hands really quick.
Cool. All right. We're gonna we'll do it right now. So we got a link for you that we're gonna drop down here in the. I just put it into the. Oh, I sent it to Sharon privately on accident. Let me get it to everybody. There's a link right here to a Google Doc that you can go to, and this has the full setup guide, step by step, of how to do this. And I read it a few times, so hopefully it works well for everybody and you find it straightforward. But I think it covers everything, and you can comment in there. So if you run into issues, you can email us or comment in there and let us know, and we'll make sure we help everybody.
Thanks so much, and thanks again, Allie. You're great.
Thank you, John Mannon.
Cool. Julia, did you have it? We saw Julia there? We might have lost her.
Okay,
all right,
Julia.
cool.
All right.
I think I muted myself by accident. Sorry.
That's all right. Is this going to work in Australia?
Yep, I'll love it. Well done.
Right, good deal.
So how's it? Turn your phone back. Mute your phone again. Unmute your phone again, Julia.
Okay.
So what you guys don't know about Julia is she's an expert on the spices. And she's down there where the spices are sourced and works tremendously close to Colleen. And you are a rock star. And I just want to thank you. And how's it going being you came over from another spice company with Colleen Walters. You've done nothing but parties with her. How's it going for you with longevity and everything you're doing, Julia? Pretty well?
Yep, really awesome. I'll show you what I'm doing at the moment. I'm just preparing my next food show. I've got a massive event in Brisbane this weekend, which as I said, I'm preparing at the moment. I expect about 50,000 visitors. It's one of the biggest food events. So I'm super excited. I will get many contacts. I will get the coffee shop interviews going, build relationships, and yeah, I think it's going to be a very successful weekend for me.
That makes us unbelievably happy. We are very happy to have you aboard. Very proud of you. What you don't know about Julia, she and her husband have 16 avocado orchards. They also have 2 small children. These two, literally, I was on the road trip with her and Colleen and Sean, and it was hysterical. But what was amazing to me was watching Julia literally work 24 hours a day trying to run all the stuff she's trying to keep together. And the fact that she's doing all this stuff with longevity on top of that is inspiring to me. So we've got an unbelievable family here. It's cool.
Thanks.
Look at Lanny. Lanny, you're so beautiful. It's unbelievable. Anybody else got any questions or anything we need to tell you, that we need to help you with, that you need to understand? We're going to, we'll continue doing coaching on this. Is 65 and a wake up, the board there, a good place for feedback to come, Adrian?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, feel free. What I'll do is we'll put up the Trello link to be able to set everything up. And so there'll be a post there that gives you the details of what you need. And so if you just want to comment on that post, that way we're collecting all of the feedback in one thread, and everybody can see it that's interested in following along.
Yeah, you can probably do that. You can probably import lists into Trello. Yeah, I think that's probably a no-brainer for that particular system. There's also a new page on Facebook that you guys might want to request yourself into, called Contact Mapping. So if you get a chance, go look at Contact Mapping on Facebook, and you will be requested in, because we're letting everybody in, but we're saying we're not quite ready for prime time, because Adrian's waiting for this guy to write some blogs who's not a very good writer, who's scared to death to write blogs, and he's kind of a lazy old codger, and he takes more naps than he does blogger. And so Adrian's a little frustrated with me, but I promise that if all you guys start getting on there and you're looking at an empty blog, I promise that Denise, and I was talking about Denise, and I didn't mean to call her an old codger, but
yeah, they knew.
They knew. So at the end of the day, we are making the app. Is there anything that you can show them on the app screenshot wise, or is that just too premature, Adrian?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little underwhelming compared to my beautiful Trello board. So we might save that for another day.
Okay, good. And Ivan, it is available. We will have this thing. We are relying on the absolute internet skills and posting ability of Marianne Niehaus. So I can promise you that this replay will be up. Oh, I just realized that actually it's under the control of Pamela Ann Schwartz. So it will be up quite quickly. That's exciting. It's very exciting. So yeah.
So Thomas, are we training on this exact thing tonight?
Yeah, we're going back to the follow-up school that we're doing in Longmont every Tuesday night is
leadership training.
What's that? Leadership
training that's now progressed into it was presentation school, now it's follow-up school. Yeah.
So it's tonight it's presentation school, but we are, because of this, and we're trying to figure out a powerful contest conversation. We're kind of using Longmont as the test tube to bring it to you guys as the second test tube, to finally bring it to the world and the rest of the longevity nation when it's actually proven up by you, versus what a lot of other people do, which is just foist upon and hope for the best. We don't do that. We try to plan, do review. We try to really, really get it ready for you before we have it to you, and it works. So it's exciting. Anybody else? Look at Denise doing the happy. Oh, you guys leave me weak. All right.
Me and Pamela.
And look at some of them. Yeah.
Dancing.
That was a pretty weak happy dance, Deb. There's Priscilla. She's going crazy. This is very, very cute. John Clark. I like all these stifled men. John Funk at least scratched his head. That was pretty cute. So,
John Clark only has one arm to dance with. He gets extra credit.
Yeah. So you guys, what do you want us to talk about now? Is anybody, let me see what we've got here that is of interest. It looks to me like.
Well, I think the key is for people to go and use this for a week and then come back next Tuesday and let's discuss and see, what's working, if you've made tweaks to it that were helpful, then I think that we go out and actually use it for a week and see what happens.
Okay, so the one problem that you're gonna run into is that if you aren't interviewing anybody, you are going to have a problem with having a follow-up system. You have to interview people. And I'm not telling you need to do 2 interviews a day and 1 3-way call. I'm just telling you that if you just get your toe in the water and you start following this thing through with all the great notes that Marinko and Adrian and Marianne stuck in here, there is going to be very little chance of failure because there's so many suggestions for you. And as this thing populates on 65 and a wake up, people are going to be giving you input where you're going to be able to see those roadblocks coming and say, okay, well, we got to turn this a little bit. The guy doesn't want to do David Allen Capital. I wonder if he loves to barbecue like Marinko. Yeah, well, we've got these spices. Well, all of a sudden, Marinko starts going out there and doing all those barbecuing, and next thing you know, he's got his wife and Diane, and her face is all smoky, so we switch him over to mineral makeup, and all of a sudden, she's inhaling all the toxins, and she's flipping over to the obviously, she's flipping over to the vitamins and minerals, and we're going to show you we've got 7 verticals here for you to redivert people when they're not into whatever. We had a wonderful, in fact, I don't know if she's still on here. See if Claire's still on here. We've got a brand new naturopathic doctor in here today that just enrolled today from another company. She is an unbelievable woman, and she was out at the office today, and we were talking to her, and Marianne did some training, and yeah, she's here. And, to have somebody like her that is now aboard with us, and Marianne we got Dr. Wallach and Dr. Debbie, whatever her last name is. What's her last name?
Dr. Mary Lasaro.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think she's on right now.
Thank God.
Gosh, not even the right name.
Claire is unmuted for you.
Marianne, I want you to unmute Forrest, and it's called the Success Collaborative Team. And so he's a very, very bearded man with a great big smile down in Christchurch, New Zealand. And Christchurch, New Zealand has a population 5. No one lives there. So it is impossible that Forrest could have had a very successful spices social selling party. There's no way. He and his beautiful mother. And Forrest, how are you, my friend?
I'm real good, thanks, Tom. Yourself?
I'm doing great. So how did your party go together? Did you sell any product?
Only a little bit. I think we revenued about $2.5 grand. $2.5 worth of products.
So what he is saying is that he, at his social party in Auckland, look at Ivan Sleeper. That's a great look right there. He was just bouncing off his thing. Steve Wallach, yell hello everybody to everybody.
Everybody's muted. Hello, Steve.
Hi,
Hello, Steve.
Everybody's waving at you on this. I'd love to talk to you, but I work for them. I'll call you right back. He's clicked. Bye-bye, Steve Wallach. So that's so funny. What the hell does he think? If he'd pay attention, he'd know I'm on here. Emily, I love you. Okay. So here's the deal. Forrest, what he just said was at his social selling party in Christchurch, New Zealand, where nobody has any money because they're coming back from the earthquake, he had a social selling party and sold $2,500 worth of product at that party. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
What?
Forrest!
You guys, that is magnificent. Magnificent. How did you do that?
I just clicked my ruby slippers together and just said, I don't want to be in my life anymore and I want to get out of here. And it just sort of all worked.
And you followed the script. You did what Colleen and Julia said to do. And the end result was you ended up selling a ton of spices and everything else. And you sent people away being better network marketers and wanting to do the same thing. Is that correct? Or did I put words in your mouth?
No, definitely. I completely followed the script to exactly how Sean and Denise, Sean and Colleen, and also your training taught us. And then the next week we had our first sort of launch, just Mum and I, and we did $400 worth, and our party's still open. So, yeah, we had 8 people attend, and everyone didn't want to go home. It was awesome. We love it. It's great fun.
Are you kidding me? Do you guys understand this stuff? This is your chance to have fun, to drink wine, to do all those fun things that people do at social selling parties, and kick the ball over the curb. This is your time.
Forrest, did you focus on the spices? Is that what you did?
That's a great question, and I really wanted to share that. At the very end, I said we also do essential oil parties, and I shared that we are the only company in the world that they can track the plants back to the farms. So that's how pure we are. We also do mineral makeup. I also shared like a little bit about the mineral makeup. We'll pass it to Mum. And we booked multiple different parties that night. We're not just a one-trick pony, and that's why I love longevity.
That's great. But you were that party alone, you focused
booking
on
hotels, because we do that as well. I'm also an independent travel consultant, so hit me up at the end if you want to know any more about that. Everything. We are offering everything.
I'm so sorry. He looks so sad. I mean, is that funny enough? Look at how happy he looks. Look how happy Julia looks. These people are building this business in Australia and New Zealand. You think the websites don't work here? You think shipping is crazy? You think all the stuff you're complaining about? We are on the super highway. These people are really grinding it out. But you know what they're doing? They're succeeding. Nothing is stopping them. Just remember that. So I'm so happy. I mean, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for all of us. Deb Boris, thank you. This is nuts. So, you know, and friend Forrest, whatever his last name is, up on Facebook if you want, so you can hear his tips. Do the same thing with Julia. It is one team. It is one dream. And we are Gone Johnson. This thing is just gonna grow. And it's growing organically through enrollment, through love of one another. This will work for you. All my cameras turned off. That's pretty weird. No, there they are. All right, good. All right, anything else?
Plus, Tom, we have something that no one else has. No one else has the spices. We have a way to get into people's hearts and into people's homes where they might be scared of nutrition or apprehensive because they're so pre-programmed to believe in another system. So that's what I love about what we have now, is that we can go in through that back door. We have spices. Sell it. It's a product. Whereas nutrition, people are like, oh, I don't know, my doctor, this and that. Spices, everyone wants to make their food taste yum. Period. So I just wanted to share that. Thanks very much, Tom.
Of course they're organic. Are they organic, Julia? Yeah? Okay, good. Whatever that means. All right. Can you put them? Okay. I like the next question. Can you put them on ice cream? Yes, you can. So that's good. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Spices. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll get out of here. You guys, I mean, I am telling you, there is no missing here. And here's where I need your help. Even if you aren't posting every day in 65 and a wake up because you haven't started your run yet, go in there and like things that other people are doing, comment on things that hit your heart. Don't do anything phony, but when somebody posts something that is real and authentic, it takes great courage to do that 66 days in a row. It almost, put a couple people up. Have we got anybody close to, is Hanny here still? Can you find Hanny?
She was on here.
I know it. Let's go
Saw
find
her.
her.
Yes, I'm here.
So, Hanny,
Hello.
let's talk about your life for a minute, young lady. What the heck happened to you?
Happened to me for the past 65 days. I am totally awake. Staying up all night because I have to meet the East and the West, calling the Philippines, staying up video call, and setting up people there in the Philippines, while in America we are asleep. We have to wake up 12 hours difference of time, and that's how I'm waking up this morning. And 66, this is the 66th day. It made a big difference to my life, and I'm gaining all this courage now to face whatever is in front of me. Thank you so much for everyone, and you too, Tom. Thanks.
And so, do you think you are a changed woman?
Definitely, sir. Because as I actually have with me another team member, Lucy, with me. She always told me that there's something changed in you, and everybody you walk or talk to or you face on the daily basis, you always talk to them for some reason. There's always something behind your brain or back of your head. I said, yes, that's Mr. Tom Chenault, CSI, but more so of a daily connecting with your heart to the heart of the person in front of you is, that's why we're all evolving and we're all improving our relationships with any human being we come across with on a daily basis. Yep.
Oh, that is so exciting. John O'Bannon, I'm trying to tell everybody that something triggered Alexa, and that was all the noise. Something she said turned on my automatic deal. So you guys almost heard Puff the Magic Dragon, but that was that noise. But I keep trying to tell all you guys that, and it keeps just sending it personally to John O'Bannon, so he thinks I'm crazy.
You
So
just said Alexa and mine turned on.
Okay, I'm gonna I'll text you.
yeah, it's nuts.
Ixnay on Alexa.
All right. So isn't that exciting for Hannah? That's all of you guys.
Training right now.
That's every one of you. I look at all of you winners. Peggy Gleason, the transformation. Unmute her. Look at her face. Tell us about you.
And then,
oh my
Marianne, we can hear you.
Marianne, mute your phone.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yay!
I am so excited. Every day I wake up thinking differently than I did 65 days ago, that's for sure. And today it was funny because I was at work and, you know, I think I had talked to everybody there already. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I got to talk to somebody. So I went to the ladies' room and lo and behold, there was a woman in there. So we chatted. It was so cool. It's so different now and it's exciting. And just to really listen and lean into people and listen to what it is that they really need is just magnificent.
Don't you love not looking at everybody like they're a prospect? You're just looking at how that you can make their life better.
Mm-hmm.
What freedom. It's unbelievable. I mean, I could go across the board. I look at every one of you. Let's talk to Emily and her mother, Colleen. Hello there, little Colleen Richter. Get the camera on your face. There you go.
Hey.
Get the little nose picker over there. There she is. Hi, Emily. How's it gone for you and Keith and obviously Emily? How's that last 66 days for you?
It's been great. And, you know, I'm learning a lot from this little one right here because the event we had Saturday, every time someone walked by our table, she stepped up to them and says, do you have a pet? Do you have a cat? Do you have a dog? And she just started the conversation and she just blew me away.
Crazy. So let's go with Ivan Sleeper next because he's just about to get there. Ivan, when I met you, you didn't know how to stop talking and you didn't know how, true story, and you didn't know how to get started, right?
Right.
And
right.
now you are an interviewing machine, and now you don't know how to stop listening. And I can just watch you improving on a daily basis all your skills, right?
Wow. Well, I hope so. I appreciate that. Some days I don't feel like it, but yeah, I definitely have noticed that my listening, it has improved for sure. I mean, I'm doing what they call active listening, where it was much more difficult for me to do.
Do you think you're listening better, and also people are liking you more and you're becoming a better person through all of this?
Yes, I'm definitely becoming a better person. And I think by nature, when you listen more, people like you more.
Yeah.
Because
bye-bye.
Yeah.
I agree.
So for sure, yes. Yes to all those questions.
And okay, so I want to ask you another question. What about the accountability? Yeah, my hair's a little messed up. How about the accountability of the board? I mean, I've watched you get stopped and confronted and, a little bit twisted up a couple of times. Don't you think the accountability of staying in the game has been important for you?
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. There have been a couple of times where I went home, I'm sitting in my driveway, and I realized I had only interviewed one person that day. And so I had to go back out to a coffee shop or a McDonald's or a drive-through something. Even if it was a dead drive-through where there was someone hanging out taking my order, and I stopped there, nobody behind me, and I just started interviewing the order taker at the McDonald's. And she now has my copy of epigenetics that I have to get back from her.
That makes me so happy. It is unbelievable how proud I am of all of you. I mean, you have no idea. And it's only going to get better. And, if you want inside information, I would recruit somebody in Longmont, Colorado, because this is ground zero for this whole conversation. And then you would have a spy. So I would just keep doing that, someplace close to us, and figure out if you have a relative close by, because I'm watching. And another guy I want to ask, because he's just done such a job. Marenko, unmute yourself.
Hello.
So Marenko was the key of figuring it out. And he and I locked horns on a few occasions about the coffee shop interview and the business conversation and how to get there from here. Tell us what's happened to you just over the last couple of weeks.
No, exactly, Tom. Really, where it first started for me was that time that I shadowed you and we went on that drive. And that's where I started kind of figuring out that you really got to lose the agenda. It has to be all and completely from beginning to end about them. And that I took away from that time. And then I started kind of taking that and trying to do something with it. And I noticed that I had more and more follow-ups after that. And so that's kind of like where that whole spreadsheet thing came from. It's like, how do I manage this? And, early on, I used to try to take, one person through that whole thing at a time. And then, you get halfway through and then they're not ready. And then you get discouraged. Then you go, okay, I got to start all over again and get another person. And so that's kind of that idea of that whole spreadsheet thing. And how do I look at like 50 people at the same time and see where they're at? And you totally opened that door for me. And so over these last couple of weeks, and then Adrian with the idea of the lists and having the app, it's been brilliant. And it's a little unfair for me because when I'm like on day 10, I think, I already had a whole bunch of stuff in that pipeline already from just even practicing with these principles. Man, now I got these 2 a day that I'm going to be populating that thing with, and there's going to be more work than I know what to do with at some point.
All right, we've got an hour in here. Anybody got a burning desire? We're like the AA meeting before we go home, or do you want to just go home? Nobody? Nobody? Adrian, any closing words?
No, I'm so excited for you guys to get into this thing. It's going to be a blast. We are going to learn together. And so we want your feedback. We want to see what you guys think. And so just be vocal and let's go figure this thing out together. It's going to be great.
Adios, everybody. See ya.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Marco.
Facilitator.
You are on it.
Woohoo!
I love you guys. What a great team. Love this call. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Great
See you
call.
guys.
Thank you.
Now go get it.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers, Forrest.
Cheers.
Forget about the spices. We'll forget about the spices.
Have a good one.
Love you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Mahalo.
You guys are awesome. Bye.
Awesome sauce.
Bye.
Cool.
Love you,
Have a great night, everyone.
Mahalo.